with the tight end, that was his fault.
Okay, all right. James, any other Falcons news? Your prediction, what do you think the Falcons are going to finish the second half? How many games are they going to win and lose?
All of them.
Yeah, I think we're going to win the rest.
No, Kyle said they're going to lose all of them. So James says 8-0, so he's predicting the Falcons to finish 13. The Falcons are 6-3. So they got 7 games. So he's predicting them to go 13-3. And you expecting the Falcons to make the playoffs and have home field advantage and all of that?
Yeah, at least home field advantage.
And
I think right now with the way we playing in the offense, I don't see any team that can actually stop us on offense because we played Seattle. They stopped us for one half, and that's it. We went off the second half after making adjustments after halftime.
Got robbed in that game.
Yeah, and we got robbed in the game.
You don't
pass interference.
Right.
Julio.
The only way the Falcons can lose is if they play against a really good pass rush defense. And the games that you guys did lose, what was the reason? I know besides that first game against Tampa Bay, what was the reasoning behind the losses?
Mainly our defense. Our defense is horrible. Especially in the first half. It's getting better, but right now Trufant is hurt. He's not going to play.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's out. Yeah.
Be a big loss. Hopefully he gets better, but yeah, our defense has been our Achilles heel this season.
Yeah, that's the same thing I told James. I saw with the Falcons is that the offense is it reminded me a lot of the Saints. Is that defense because they give up a lot of points. And they gave a lot of points to Green Bay, although they won with 30 seconds left. And then they're giving up a lot of points. That they're going to have to tighten up their defense. Do you, James, want to go out on them? Do you think the Falcons are the best team in the NFC or Super Bowl contenders team?
Yes, I do. I think the argument that most people are bringing up is the Cowboys, but I feel like we're better than the Cowboys. I feel like we have a better offense, and the Cowboys' defense is questionable as well. So I feel like we're a better team, and the Cowboys has had a way lighter schedule than we have. I think at the end of the season, we're going to be the most battle-tested because of our schedule. Our schedule was brutal.
Yeah, the NFC South had the hardest schedule playing that NFC West and AFC West. And the thing I will say about you guys, y'all had Seattle and you had the game against San Diego. Y'all really should be 7-1, just like the Saints should be 7-1. The Saints should have beaten the Raiders. They should have beaten the Giants. They really should have beaten Kansas City. Really, the game against you two would have been a toss-up had the Saints not given y'all 2 cheap touchdowns. Deion Johns running that interception back, and then Tommy Lee Lewis fumbling at the 15-yard line. You take away that 14, y'all would have had 31. The Saints had 32. For these two teams, that game in New Year's may be something else if both these teams can continue to play solid football in the second half.
Yeah,
I do kind of concur with you, James, that I think the best. This is a year in the NFC that the best teams have offense. It's no longer the Seattle. And I don't know what has happened to Minnesota. They started game fires, and they are crumbling because they have no offense. I don't even know if they're going to be able to hang on because they can't score. So then you could have a situation that your playoff scenario could be Dallas as the NFC East champs. You could probably have, strangely enough, because Aaron Rodgers is so shaky, Detroit Lions could wind up winning the Central.
Yep.
Seattle could wind up winning the West. The Falcons could probably, if they hang on, win the South with the Saints as a wild card team and either the Giants or Green Bay.
Or Philadelphia.
Or Minnesota as the other wild card. And that would put probably the Saints, if they finish as a number 6 seed, they would wind up having to play the number 3 seed, which would probably be the Detroit Lions or the Seattle Seahawks.
And don't forget about Philadelphia, though.
Oh yeah, I said the list, but they're crashing. They're crashing. That's over with them. They're crashing. They've lost out of their last 4 games. They're crashing.
Yeah. Let me say this, Professor. The thing that James said about the Atlanta Falcons defense, I see a concerning pattern with your team right now, James, and it's the second quarter and fourth quarter of games. The defense already this season have given up 88 points in the second quarter and 98 points in the fourth quarter. Last season, the Falcons only gave up 80 points in the fourth quarter. And we're talking about we're halfway through the season right now.
That's what James is saying.
That's concerning to me. To see what you guys are doing there defensively, man. Offensively, that means the Falcons will have to be consistent in putting up 32 to 38 points a game to be able to win these games. So, yeah, hopefully you guys can be able to correct that. But
well, I will say this. We're doing better in a pass rush this season, mainly because of Vic Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know if you guys know as well, he really took off after the Denver game when I think he had 3 sacks that game. Mm-hmm. And before the game, he had a conversation with Von Miller. And coming out of the draft, that's who he was compared to.
Right.
So, with him taking off, our pass rush is better, and I think if we can get enough takeaways, if the defense can create turnovers and, give the offense more opportunities, I think, we'll be able to win, make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, look at the flip side on your offense, man. The 2 quarters that the offense usually does well for the Atlanta Falcons is only the second quarter and third quarter. The fourth quarter, you guys are missing in action right now. I wonder if that also has been a part of some of your collapses right there in the fourth quarter, not being able to keep as high as what you were able to produce in the third quarter.
Well, I will say this.
That's when the team seemed to cut back on the Falcons.
Mm-hmm, right there.
In that Saints game, the score was, I think the score at that time was 24 to 38. And the Saints was on a 15-yard line, getting ready to go in for a touchdown that would have brought that score down to 31 to 38 or something like that. Or it was 34 because y'all kicked a field goal and a touchdown. So it must have been something like 35. Yeah, it was 35 to 24 with the Saints having the ball on the Falcons 15. And Drew Brees and Michael Tillman said that miscue, and Deion caught that. The Saints were getting ready to come back. And so Kyle's point is in the fourth quarter, and that's what happened against the San Diego. What do you think is attributed why the Falcons in the fourth quarter blew us? Because in that Carolina game, they totally was about to blow that game before that guy caught that interception, and they blew a lead in that game. What's going on in the second half, primarily in the fourth quarter with the Falcons' defense?
Yeah, I just think we're not putting teams away, and I think that attributes to the quality of the teams that we're playing. We beat Green Bay on Sunday, and then had a short week to come back and play the Buccaneers, and we really had a good game against the Buccaneers and was able to put them away. So I just think it's just the quality of teams that we're playing, where we can't just put them away like that. It's been pretty close in the fourth quarter. So I think that's probably what it is.
And the Saints have the same problem. That's the problem I have with both of these teams. They don't know how to put teams away. And if you're playing a great quarterback, because if the Saints had not had that fumble at the one, and they would have still won this game, but That game could have been a lot closer in San Francisco, and that's my issue with both Atlanta and the Saints. You've got to put teams away. But I just feel in the NFC, after what I saw the Saints do to Seattle and Atlanta, I don't think the NFC defenses can handle either one of these offenses unless they have to go and play in Minnesota. I don't think the Saints nor Atlanta are scared to go play in Seattle anymore, especially what I saw Monday night what Buffalo did to Seattle. I think Seattle's mojo is, unless they get a running game, they're probably going to be going on the road somewhere, either to Dallas or to Atlanta or New Orleans. If the Saints and one of these teams, the Saints or the Falcons, stay hot, somebody's going to be playing. I don't know if anybody's going to catch Dallas with. What Dallas is doing now also is Dallas is playing solid defense. They're not giving up a lot of points. They're doing something on defense also. So it's going to be interesting. I do think that, though, I don't see too many teams that can stop the Saints or Atlanta offense.
I want to say this. I know as far as a Falcons fan, I know as far as a Falcons fan perspective, and I already know, on the Saints fan side, that neither team is scared to go to Dallas and play in Dallas.
I concur with that point. Yep, I agree with that.
I'm going to share something with you, Professor. I'm looking at the breakdown of the Dallas wins. The strength of their victories has only been with competitors at 33%. So they've been winning games on people they should win games on. Atlanta, which is pretty impressive in my opinion, they've won games with 54%. I mean, that's one of the highest in the league right now, and they're at the top of their division. So I think Atlanta has had a harder schedule and better quality wins than anybody in the whole league. Oh, the next will be the New York Giants at 5-3. So that goes to show you Atlanta has had quality wins throughout the season.
Yeah, they have. Like I said, they easily should be 7-1. I think the Tampa loss was just breaking up the kinks of. I always tell y'all, the first 2 weeks of NFL football is still preseason. That's why you can get a lot of upsets in week one. That's why I really wish the Saints had won that Oakland game.
Yeah.
Because that's the time when you need to win these, and that Giants game. One or the other. I wish they had one or the other, because weeks 1 and 2, the players are still rusty because they didn't play that much in preseason. So we're going to be keeping, to all the listeners, we are going to be keeping an eye on what's going on in the NFC South. One thing for sure, it's going to be exciting to all the listeners. And we still, not so much the Falcons, but the Saints, because the Panthers are 3 games behind the Falcons in the win column. But the Saints have to continue to keep their eyes on those Panthers because, they're right 1 game behind. So that game on Thursday night is another big one. And if you remember, the last time the Saints played Carolina on a Thursday night in 2014, they beat them soundly on Thursday night football in Carolina. So let's just hope that Sunday and Thursday, that the Saints can come away with a victory in both games, because the Carolina Panthers are really struggling on offense, and their defense has not been that great. So I'm not surprised at the score against the Rams, because the Rams have a horrific offense. Not sure what's going on with Todd Gurley and that offense. They have no quarterback.
They have no quarterback play. That's what's wrong. You're keeping a guy on the bench. You drafted number 1. You're not going to get much out of Case Keenum any longer. Why don't you put him in the game? Jeff Fisher, the reason why he has never really won the big one, he's gotten to the Super Bowl, but hasn't really won the big one in a long time, is because he's been too conservative.
And they started out 3-1. But
yeah, but those three and those weren't